The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Heavenly Sent People You Should Know. I have two amazing men. And as you guys know, we talk about relationships, finance, and everything in between. So first I want to say thank WVTC Radio for allowing me to be the publicist of the station. If you guys didn't know, we are a two-time Grammy Award winning station and been nominated for the third. I'm excited. And so you guys will soon, thank you, sir. You guys will soon see a vote for us link sooner than not. And so this year we're going to the Stella Award again. And when I say it has been an amazing journey that I'll never forget, to be able to see some of these iconic people that I see on TV and that my mom listened to as I was growing up, to be in a room with them is like a dream come true. So with that being said, I have Mr. Fernando and Mr. Darrin on the show with me tonight. And so I was just sitting here laughing because I had no idea that these two men know each other, right? And so for me, it's going out seeking men that I know that are pillars in the neighborhood and the community, you know, and that's just doing amazing things. And so kind of like to change the narrative in regards to the normal things we talk about. I want to pick their brains about some other things. And so with that being said, Mr. Bowie, real quick, can you tell us who you are and what your occupation consists of?
Well, my name is Fernando Bowie. I am an insurance broker. I started Bowie Insurance Group back in 2019. My background is actually with Chicago Public Schools as a coach. Now I'm I'm a co-assigner for girls basketball for CPS High School. And I'm Darrin Tillis mentoree. He's my mentor in so many different ways. So many different ways. Thank you, D.
Mr. Tillis, can you tell us who you are and what your occupation consists of?
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you for having me on the show today. First of all, like you stated, my name is Darrin Tillis, and I'm an independent contract agent with State Farm Insurance. So I represent State Farm Insurance and all their products that they sell, including insurance and financial services. I am a resident of the west side of Chicago, and I sell insurance products throughout the state of Illinois.
I appreciate that.
So Miss Cynthia, I want to do mine over because I didn't get a chance to do that free marketing that Darrin did right there.
Fernando, we can ask you to move to your right. Move to your right, Fernando. Move to your right.
I'm sorry?
I said, can you move to the right? There we go. Yeah. Okay. You want to do your promo? Go ahead.
No, I was just joking. But Darrin sounds so smooth with I'm an independent agent for State Farm and blah blah blah. I didn't even get a chance to put mine out there, but it's okay.
You said some good stuff. I've been with State Farm for it'll be 30 years in June. I've been an independent contract agent. I started out in North Lawndale in 2001. So I've been in the industry for a long time. I started in the industry after I graduated from college.
That is so awesome.
And let me say this about Darrin and his State Farm agency. They have really been instrumental in the West Side development, making donation and being real strong and being a participant in a lot of things. And he called me over, man, come over here, check this out. I got a couple clients that he couldn't insure. Actually, his mother is one of my clients. His sister is one of my clients. So it's not about personal things. It's about making sure that we take care of our community and people. If I have a product that Darrin can't provide, or Darrin has a product that Fernando Bowie Insurance Group can't provide, we're going to make sure we put those people in place with the right people to make sure that they get the things that they need. And I appreciate that, Darrin, because you taught me that by bringing me into your family, bringing my products in, and bringing, hey man, My man.
Hey, boy, don't start with all these flowers now, man. You're gonna make me start crying, man. Now,
No,
boy,
I'm trying to get you to.
flowers too.
I'm trying
Cynthia.
to get you to. I'm trying to get you to send me some more clients.
Hilarious.
Cynthia, I'm one of his biggest clients. But go ahead, Cynthia. I'm sorry.
So the reason that I put this together, now I could have picked anything and anybody, but I wanted to target men. And so the reason was because I'm raising a boy child, right? And so I understand that there's a lot of things that I can't give him being a female. And so therefore, you know, I know people often say, a village. It takes a village. But see, my twist on that is that, yeah, it takes a village, but I'm going to go out and find my village, because everything in our village ain't for us. Everything in our village ain't up to par. And so I go out and seek men whom I see are doing things in the community. And I build my village around that. And so with that being said, and from that, for some reason, the Lord keeps sending me these young men. Today I had 5 young men, and the barn where I owned a horse, Stan, he's about 80 years old. And so every month he asks me to bring the kids out, the young boys to be specific, and he gives them a stipend to do stuff at the barn. So today, it was so cool to see them, just helping them out, and just I'm staying pouring into them, right? And so it helps me, because a lot of times they ask questions, and so they need advice, and I know it's so many things that like I said, I can't give them, and so I depend on guys like you. And with that being said, like you said, Bowie, one day I think I put up a post to say, hey, I'm doing the after school program at the library. I got about 10 boys. Before I looked up, Darrin was calling me. He was like, what you need? You need pizza? And I was on my way to home running in to pick the pizza up. So Darrin, we really appreciate that. And guess what? That's where we went today. So, and then from that, so the boys didn't want to go home. And I'm like, I got to get home and do what I need to do. I ended up taking them to the track. And thank God it was some young men out there that were in college. And so now moving forward, you guys will see me putting these posts up about having young men meet up at the track so they can play football. I don't know nothing about football, but see how the Lord keep putting me in position for people to help me. So that's the reason I got started with this. And then even talking to a lot of my female friends, a lot of them don't have a clue. It ain't just how you look. It's other things to draw men to you in regards to what you think. And so, y'all tune in and see. And so this has helped so many of my female friends, like, what I was thinking this, but when I heard the guy say that, so I appreciate that. So we got a couple questions, and so we'll start off with Darrin. Do you think societal expectations for men have changed, and how so?
You know what? That's a tough question, and the reason I think it's tough is because I never pay attention to what people's expectations are for me. I know my strengths and my limitations, and I try to stay within my comfort zone. Oftentimes, when we try to live up to everybody else's expectations, we're not comfortable. So for me, I never pay attention to what someone else's expectations are. I realize my skill sets, what I'm strong and what I'm weak at. And what I would encourage anybody out there is just focus on what it is that you do great, because there's always going to be somebody bigger, stronger, faster. There's always going to be somebody that make more money than you. There's always somebody that's going to be more attractive than you. So when you say expectations, my expectations are the most important thing.
I love it. Well said. Mr. Bowie?
Well, for me, I think that I don't worry about, I'm agree with Darrin on that, but I got a flip side to that, is that my expectation for Black men is to, if I'm not strong in this area and I have a young man that's under my tutelage, I want to make sure I put him with someone. That's my expectation for myself, is to make sure I can put him with someone that can give him the tools that he needs to put in his toolbox to be successful. So with that being said, if the expectation should be, if I can't pull you up, I'm going to put you with someone that can pull you up. Everybody can't do life insurance. Everybody can officiate. But if I have someone that says, hey, I want to be an electrician, this is what I'm good at. Hey, I want to be a carpenter. My expectation for myself is to put that person with someone that can guide him to meet his goals. Those are my expectations for me. Now, I don't have any expectations for Darrin Tillis. I don't have any expectations for anybody else. But I do expect, as Black men, we nurture, for what in whatever capacity we can to grow our young black men. Because if you think back when I was in high school, we had vocational schools. I went to Westinghouse. And Westinghouse, you had auto shop, body shop, electrician, carpentry. All that's been taken away, so to speak. And the expectation was for us to start thinking college prep. But everybody is not equipped to go to college.
Correct. I agree.
So we have to take that expectation away and say, hey, let's put this person with where they want to be
I love
and
it.
how they want to get there. So those are my things about expectations in black men. Put someone with someone that can help them.
I'm teaching that to my young men right now. You know, anytime that they encounter me, I'm asking them. I think that every young man should know how to do some type of trade with their hands, whether it be electrician, construction worker, a barber, a mechanic, and anything that's working with their hands. And like you said, Fernando, everybody's not college ready. So therefore, why send your child off somewhere when you know that they don't even like high school? Like, for instance, my son, he hates school. So why would I send him off and put him in an environment where I know that he's not going to succeed? So now we've been talking about trade for the last 6-7 years. And so that's where his mindset is, because everybody can't afford college, and everybody won't get a college scholarship. And so you just got to know what type of kids you is. And like you said, Darrin, we can't worry about societal expectations, because if you try to do what the Jones doing, you're going to lose every time.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at with the young man. So you guys said that you was friends, right? So my question to you, Fernando, is what does a good friend look like to you? Or what
Honesty.
Okay.
Honesty, truth. A good friend is going to tell you things that you don't want to hear. A good friend is going to say, hey, man, you need to change. You need to move your steps around. Everybody's not meant to go where you're going.
I love it.
And identify those people. And that might be me. I could tell Darrin this to tell Darrin, I may not be meant to go where you're going. Let me go. Don't hold on to me. Honesty with black men, we are so, in my opinion, we are so caught up in trying to catch up. We are so caught up into point fingers and trying to blame someone of another race or an identity of where we not succeeding at. Fuck, excuse my language. I'm passionate about this because my father passed when I was 8. My mother worked 3 jobs. My grandmother, my uncles, and my mother helped raise me. I could have went left, could have went right. I made a decision for myself. We have to be honest with these young black men.
Thank you.
And we got to stop playing with them. We got to stop sugarcoating them. And we got to be honest with these black women that we're dealing with about their kids.
Thank you.
My age is 50 years old. I'm divorced, looking to be remarried. And I say this because at my age, there's no woman that I'm going to be seriously involved with that don't have children. My expectations for her kids is just to be respectful. And I have to be honest with her. I have to be honest with her kids. Any young man I'm involved with, I have to be honest with. Dude, you messing up. It's not tolerated here. And these are the things that we have to hit home with. We have to be, and this is what friendship is about. You go out to the bar with your friend, and you guys are good friends. And Darrin Tillis know this. We do this. Hey, man, let me get them keys. Hey, man, let me drop you off. Hey, man, let me call your lady to come pick you up. Ain't no macho in when you messing up, when you can ruin your life and somebody else's life. So my thing is, to be a good friend, you got to be honest. You got to be real honest with your friend. And anybody that's a friend of mine that's not honest with me, let me rephrase that. Anybody that's a true friend is honest with me, will let me know when I'm messing up. Dude, you got to straighten up.
Whether you want to hear it or not.
What I want to hear or not.
Okay.
What I want to hear or not. I may not talk to them for a week, but when reality set in, Darrin was right. It's time to straighten up and fly right, like the red tail say.
Darrin, what does a good friend look like to you, sir?
He ain't got nothing else to say on that.
I ain't got nothing else to say. I ain't got nothing else to say. Drop the mic. I would like to add to what Fernando stated. There are three components, and there are a lot of components of a great friend. And I've been truly blessed to have a lot of great friends, males and females. But the three components for me is you have to be a listener, you have to be a communicator, but also you have to be loyal. And I'll go with listening. It's hard for us to have a relationship if you're not listening. Now, people always say, I heard you, but listening is a skill set. So if you're listening to me, you understand my likes, my dislikes. You know what makes me mad, what makes me sad. You understand a lot about me if you listen to me talk. Communication. If we can't communicate back and forth as men or individuals, because I have great female friends and I have great male friends, but we have to be able to communicate, because I need to listen to you and you need to listen to me. And we have to have an exchanging of ideas. And that means that if you do something wrong, I got to be able to tell you. If I do something wrong, you got to be able to tell me. And finally, loyalty. I have some pretty loyal friends, in my opinion. And they know that I call it breaking a brick for them, and I hope they will break a brick for me. Because oftentimes you find a lot of folks who don't have one friend, one person that they can call a friend. So to have a number of folks that you can call a friend, I think it speaks to you and it speaks to them, because you guys have been able to listen, communicate, and we got to be able to grow together. So listening, communicating, and loyalty are my favorites when it comes to defining who my friends are. And to piggyback on what Bowie said, no matter what space I'm in, no matter what space me and Bowie in, we're going to, first of all, listen to one another. We have a level of communication, and there's a level of loyalty out there, because there's certain bro codes that you have out there, and people always want to be respectful. Because if I communicate something before I do it and I know I'm in Bowie's space, then we can talk through it. But if I just do something and don't consider the loyalty to Bowie, then I've misstepped. So you always got to be thinking, and sometimes people are irrational. They just do things to do things. I'm always strategic and thinking, what am I doing and who is it going to affect?
That's important. Wow. You guys said a lot.
Absolutely.
So with that being said,
who it's going to affect? That's powerful, bro.
So Bowie, how do you prioritize self-care and your mental wellness? Is there any specific? Is there anything you do, or what? How do you handle that?
Well, the way I look at self-care, it's an individual thing. Some people, self-care may go to a gym, go to a spa, get a massage. I like to meditate a lot in the car. I'm a driver. I pray, I praise, I listen to Eric Thomas, my motivational speaker, to bring me back. Because sometimes, especially, I'm not going to speak for everybody. When I have my successes in my business, I find myself celebrating mode. Man, you got this, you did this. And my self-care, I have to bring myself back down. I like to smoke cigars. I like to drink whiskey, tequila. I have to bring myself back down. Hey, man, okay, this next 2 days, you're going to have salads. You're going to eat Cheerios and milk, almond milk for breakfast. You're not going to go get no ham. You're not going to go get no grits and eggs, because this is, you have to remotivate yourself. You have to rejuvenate yourself, and you have to have your mind free. And you also have to talk to other people that's either in your industry or doing things that you're doing, whether it's real estate, entrepreneur, barber. Hey, what's working for you? That's the mental side. Because when you're entrepreneurship, you're going to have those down moments. You have to have that self-care where you can communicate with other people, including your mate. It's just a lot of things that come with it. with self-care and taking your vacations. I found taking my vacations great, great. Turn your phone off, talk to your family members and say, hey, and it could be a stay vacation. It doesn't have to you get away. Take a Saturday and say, listen, I'm not doing any business. I'm turning my phone off. I'm not talking to anybody. I pick this back up Monday morning. That's self-care. I pick this back up. What is what's the movie? Was that Five Heartbeats? When he held the guy, I don't want to hold anybody over the ledge, but my office hours are from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You gotta, you
That was
gotta,
Red. Red said that. Red said that.
yeah, Red said that. You gotta let go. You can't carry it with you. You leave it there, you're gonna pick it back up. So I think, far as self-care, the food that you take in, your habits, because we all have habits.
Absolutely.
Monitor your habits, maintain your habits, know when to cut some of those habits off, and get away, unplug. And it's so important to communicate with your mate, whether it's that your spouse, your significant other, whatever, communication. Because if they're behind you, they need that release. You need to communicate with them.
Well said. Thank you. D.
Boy, it's hard to come behind all of that. I mean, you said everything that I wanted to say, but
That's why I'm glad she calling my name first.
well,
The Bowie Insurance Group. We insure. I'm there.
let me see what I can add to that, Bowie. Well, first of all, let's talk about self-care. Fundamentally, I'm an introvert. And I'm an introvert and most people wouldn't know that, because if you see me moving around and talking all the time, you'd be like, no way, he's not an introvert.
I believe that. I picked that up.
But I'm more so forced to be an extrovert, and I enjoy being an extrovert. Self-care, I do everything in life in moderation. Everything. I don't overly indulge in anything. And if you ever pay attention to me, I'm going to enjoy it just enough, but I'm never going to overindulge in anything. I'm a marathon runner. I've run 10 Chicago 26.2 marathons. So from a health perspective, oftentimes you're going to see me running, whether that's through a neighborhood, whether that's on the lake. I used to be a basketball player, but primarily self-care. I'm a chicken and fish eater. Outside of that, I don't eat any pork. And I do everything in moderation. But self-care for me primarily is family and friends. And when I say self-care, meaning if you've ever been around me, I rarely talk about business. I'll talk about business, but I rarely talk about my business. So
Absolutely, yeah.
If you don't ask me, then I have enough stuff to talk about versus talking about the business industry that I'm in, because I like talking about business. I like talking to entrepreneurs. I like talking about the growth mindset. So self-care for me is being around family, being around friends, laughing and joking, and just finding out about their day, what's going on with them. We could talk about what's going on with me, but the primary enjoyment comes from just having natural, organic conversation. That's self-care for me, because out of that, I'm gonna get a number of different things. I'm gonna get motivated by somebody else's challenges that they're dealing with. It's gonna teach me how to deal with my challenges. I'm going to rejoice and celebrate in the successes that you got, and we can celebrate in my successes. But also, I'm a mourn in any challenges that you're dealing with, and I am going to communicate my challenges to you as well. The challenge with a lot of people is there's always a one-way street. I cannot have an issue or be talking to you about your issue and not impart and say, man, I went through the same thing. It's wrong for me to listen to everything that you're telling me, but I don't tell you. So primarily that's self-care for me, my family and friends, and whatever we're doing. I'm not a major traveler. I've traveled enough in my life, so that doesn't do anything for me. It's just another space. Traveling to me could be hanging out, like Bowie said, at our local spots that we hang out, having fun, watching basketball. Because when I'm not outside, the insular mode of me is thinking about what I need to do, what I got to do, and then taking in what it is I like to do. I'm a major TV watcher. I love TV. I can sit home all day and watch TV. I'm a documentary guy.
Hey, Cynthia, you see it on my face. I have a rebuttal for that. And I'm gonna tell you why.
No.
Because he helped grow my business. And we at our local spot, we watching the game, and I see Darrin, he texting, blah, blah, blah. He's on his phone. And I said, hey man, what's going on? He said, boy, anytime you see me, I'm conducting business. I took that, and now if so say you may be a potential client. I took that from Darrin, and this still is self-care. This is self-care and caring for others. If you was a client and we talked maybe a week ago from today, and we sitting back, we watching the game, it's a quiet moment. Hey Cynthia, this Fernando from the Bowie Insurance Group, just following up with you. Did you like those quotes I sent you? That's self-care too.
Now, Cynthia, let me say this. Bowie is doing an amazing job out there, getting out there, communicating to folks and speaking to them about the value of life insurance and trying to change the narrative and how people view life insurance. And so in my formative years, I would have been a little bit more aggressive. But Bowie is very, very, very aggressive, and I applaud him for that. But to Bowie's point, it is always about business, because if you refer me somebody and they call and they text me at 9 o'clock at night, first of all, I'm excited, and that's a level of joy that I'm receiving, that somebody trusts in my insurance agency to think of me. And I may not always do business with them, but that my heart is pumping faster because I'm excited about the fact that I get a chance to take care of somebody and I didn't even pay for that leave.
And Cynthia, here's the thing about it. And we talk about this as insurance agents. It is also self-care when you sit down with someone that's in a situation, whether it's medical situation, financial situation, and you could put them in a better situation that they had no idea. They had no idea that they could be in that place. When you in front of them and they actually, tears come down their eyes.
Wow.
And say, hey, I didn't know this could happen, and you took care of me. Or this grew way past my budget, and you brought me back to where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And when you walk out of that home or you get off that phone call, you really feel like, besides your commission, your financial thing, because I always say this, nobody can stop what God has for me.
Absolutely not. And
it doesn't have to be an insurance commission. It could be, I can walk into a room and find some money. It's I'm serious. No one can stop what God has for you. But when you really feel the impact of helping people, that's self-care too, because now you're motivated and you sit back and you're never going to forget those stories. You're never going to forget that situation where that 80-year-old woman thought when she retired that she was going to get her full life insurance, and her only life insurance benefit was $3,800. And you was able to put her in a plan that she can afford that will not increase as long as she make her premium payments. I'm serious. That's the business. That's the business. As long as she make her premium payments, she can leave her one daughter some small money, not a lot of money, and be able to be put away respectfully. That means a lot to seniors when they get to that point, and they've been confused about the business or anything like that. So that's self-care within itself.
So this brings me to my next question with you too, Darrin. What are some common financial mistakes that men make?
We don't make that many mistakes.
Oh wow!
We're helping everybody recover from their mistakes. No, I'm joking.
Because I made a lot. I wouldn't term it mistakes that men make. I'll term it mistakes that people make. First of all, most people don't understand money and the role that money plays in their lives, and they don't have a relationship with money.
And a lot of times you need to teach kids and folks early about money and the relationship that you have with money. And so the major mistake that people make is not understanding their relationship with money. So sometimes people feel better when they spend all of their money. Sometimes people feel good when they save their money. Sometimes people feel good when they help other people. So I think the biggest issue is understanding your relationship to money, your relationship with money, and understanding what money can do for you. Sometimes we listen to the wrong people tell us about money. I'm a firm believer that if you ain't never really made no money, you can't tell me about money. You cannot tell me about money. But your friends who may have caught a lick say, hey, you should do this. But if you understood the fundamentals of money, you know that it is hard to turn over $10,000. It's hard to double $10,000. So when somebody comes to you and say, man, you can double $10,000, the first question you should say, you know how they say it sounds too good to be true, most likely it is. That's the first thing I normally say. There was a scenario where a gentleman was helping people have huge returns on their money in the community in North Lawndale. And I knew some people and they were doubling their money over the course of a year. So me being in the financial service industry, I know that that's almost impossible to do. Even if you put your money in some of the more aggressive markets, it's hard to double your money. So I went and met with the guy and I sat down and talked to him and I asked him a few questions. And he gave me a term that you never use in the financial service industry. He told me, he said, I guarantee you that I'm going to get you this back. Anybody that understands finances, anybody that understands financial,
no guarantees.
You can never guarantee anybody anything. So I left. And then I asked him, I said, hey, can you show me, let me get a copy of the document that he was presenting to me? He said, no, he shredded it immediately. Let's say several months later, I ended up meeting his office manager and they ended up having him on the news. It was a Ponzi scheme. So when you, and I'll go back to this, when you understand money fundamentally, you have relationships with money and you truly listen to people educate you about money, you know when somebody is doing you wrong. So people are always saying, oh my God, he stole my money. No, you let him steal your money because you. So what I would love to do, and me and Fernando we can find a way to do this together, is come out to your young men and talk to them about financial literacy. Because see, I think everybody want to try to talk about financial literacy, but do they have a resume that speaks to financial literacy? Can they give people examples of all the stuff they're going to run into? As much favorable financial situations I've been in some disastrous financial situations, and I can sit down and have a conversation. So the biggest pitfall is not having a relationship with money and understanding money.
And it's fun you said that because I got one young man, and every time I encounter him, every time he's with us, his whole thing is a lick. Oh, I need this lick. I heard about this lick. I'm like, young man, you are down a road of destruction. Life don't work on licks. And so, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and other kids be like, dude, is you slow? What is you on? You always, and so like, this guy needs guidance, and the man to sit down and tell him like no other, because we sit at the table last week, and I was telling them about how when you write a tip, to make sure you so what I do is I take a picture when I send a tip, because I got a friend who said that she used to be a server, and so when the customer would write on their tip, she would put a 0 in and it would be bigger than what the anticipated customer left. Yeah, right. And so ever since she told me that, and so now I would always make sure I put some scribble scrabble around my numbers, circle it, and take a picture. And so I was telling the kids that, and the young boy, you know what he said? Oh, I think I need to be a server. I'm like, no, that's not it, young man. So yeah.
You know, some people out there, honestly, they have been developed and raised by somebody who has a level of influence on them to think the way. That's a mindset that somebody has developed from being around people. The great thing is when you're around people that are doing better or who think differently, it's always important to try to sit back and listen, because he's going down, that individual is going down the wrong path already.
Yes. Wow. Mr. Bowie, what are some common financial mistakes that people
Well,
make?
I think that Darren hit it on the head, and to add to that, I think patience.
Yeah.
When I first got in the insurance industry and my business started to grow, and I went to buy a car. Went to buy a car, and they said, "Well, we need your bank statements. We need 3 months of bank statements." So I brought the bank statements, and I said, "Damn, I made this much money." Didn't have a relationship with my money. Didn't know where to put it. Not being patient because I've never made this kind of money before that fast. Most of us are on biweekly payroll, whether we make good money or whatever. We're on biweekly payroll. So we know how to manage that type of money. I know I got to pay my rent, my mortgage, my car note, my insurance. I got to get food. I got to pay tuition, blah, blah, blah. So we know how to manage that money. But when we in the industry or in the business, or you could be that person, you have something side going on, and that money start coming in, and we do not manage patience. We do not manage patience. We do not manage to say, hey, wait a minute. I've never made this type of money before. I need to talk to Darrin Tillis because he's making all the money.
Stop it, boy. Stop it.
or, or I need to
Stop it.
go, hey, D. Or, no, seriously. And I'm not saying Darrin the millionaire or anything, but he's been in the industry making that type of money for a while. So, D, what do you think I should do? Okay, Bowie, you're doing Medicare, you're doing life insurance, you're doing supplemental health, you're doing basketball. Get separate accounts so you can see where that money is going. Also, you can see if you spent something for Medicare, that should come out of that Medicare budget, not life insurance budget. You can't measure your money that way. You're going on vacation, you should not go into any of those buckets, any of those accounts. You should have that vacation account. Now, as an entrepreneur, you need to have a tax account.
Mhm.
If you owe taxes, see, these are the things that we don't talk about. Expenditures, what my revenue is, what I brought in, what did I spend out? Did I spend out this for life insurance, or did I spend this out for Medicare? If I spent this out for Medicare, I should be paying Medicare, whatever I spend for taxes, for Medicare account. So we have to be patient. We have to understand. We have to let our money grow. We have to get in front of people where we're listening about financial literacy. And it does not take you to make $100,000, $200,000. You could be making $35,000 a year. You still need financial literacy so you don't outlive your means. And you can say, okay, for a referee, for example, you have a person that goes out and work a couple games on a Saturday and make $200. They have a 9 to 5 where they're making, say, $50,000 a year. They have expenses. We need to show that person how to take $50 out of their $200 they made. This has to go to the side. You have a rainy day. You have a good day. Because you made $200 don't mean I can call DT and say, hey, man, let's go to the water hole. Drinks on me. Or we going to Gibson's. I'm buying steaks. You got to be patient. You're not there yet. You're
I'm
not
glad,
there yet.
glad you said that, Bowie. So my next question involves the community. And so although you guys are pillars in the community, you give back. So the question says, what are some ways that we can support each other in building a stronger community, right? And so I'm gonna let you guys ponder on that question. So I'm always posting what I'm doing with the kids, so much so that somebody on Facebook seen what I was doing and called me and say, hey, we like to pitch your, we like to use what you've been doing with the kids, have an interview, and it's for a monetary check, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. So I went, in front of all these people, and I was picked, right? And so it was so cool because they sent me all these cameras to my house. And so they wanted me to take the cameras to the barn. They wanted to interview me in regards to, I think we was doing a community recycling day at the park district. And so I got picked, and they sent me all this cool equipment to the house. And so I want to show the video because it ties into my question in regards to what can we all do to build a stronger community. So here it is.
My name is Cynthia Manuel. I was born in Chicago, and I am proud to be able to raise my son in Chicago. I work with inner city youth to show them different things outside of their neighborhoods. When these kids walk onto the farm, it makes them feel like they are free. I want these kids to know how to give back, and recycling is one of those ways.
Right, cool, right?
Nice.
And so I'm just so grateful and passionate about animals. I'm passionate about youth, and I'm passionate about giving back. And so yeah. So with that being said, so how do you guys think, or ways that we can all support each other in building a stronger community?
Do you mind if I go first?
Go ahead.
So I think that guys like myself, Darrin, any entrepreneurs that's in the community, we need to get together and we need to form some form of apprenticeship of what we do. Any kid from the age, I'm a guesstimate from the age of 10 to 17 wants to make money, wants to have some of their own money in their pocket. And if we can show them what we do can be very profitable, can be very growth, and we put back in the community with that mentoring, apprenticeships, and I'm talking about going all the way where they get their license and what they do, certificates of what they do. People don't even imagine how much auto mechanics make an hour. Over $100 an hour for auto mechanics.
I just had this conversation with my young men when I told them they all got to figure out what they want to do with their hands. Because I said, everybody got a car and gonna need a car, and so on and so forth. So you figure it take 30 minutes to fix brakes, and they charge you $70. Your brakes gonna go out every 3 to 4 months. So y'all gonna keep paying that man over there, or y'all gonna take the course in school so y'all can fix y'all brakes, y'all parents' brakes, y'all friends' brakes, and y'all friends' brakes. Or you gonna
but but it's most important that we don't just show them how to do it. We show them how to get certified, how to get their license, where they're not bumped out the way. You know, when we were growing up, we had alley mechanics.
Still do.
We still do, but alley mechanics is not making the same thing as the dealer is making.
Never will.
We want to put them in a position where they're at the dealer, when it benefits a career and making the money that they need to make and be certified. You know, that's my thing. As entrepreneurs giving back to the community, we have to bring these kids in and say, hey, man, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to help you pass this. I'm not just going to show you the class. We're going to sit there together. I'm going to show you how to pass the class, because that's what the other folks do. They just don't put them over there and say, read this book or take these modules online. Because we have to show them small pieces of success that can grow into big pieces of success, and be an example. Be an example. They can't see us doing the BS. They can't see us on garbage. They got to see us positive and real. Hey, man, I drink. Hey, man, I saw your daddy, your uncle. Good people, man. He introduced himself to me. That brings credibility to you. You're in the same community, Cape Town, West Side.
Absolutely.
They don't see you on the Gold Coast or over here, over there. They see you in the West Side. They see you going in there and getting you a bag of chips at the same gas stations. You know what I'm saying? They see you going to Dave's getting you a hot dog. You know, this is what we have to do. We can't step outside our box. One of the biggest mistakes I made, I bought property on the west side and then reinvest in the west side. So that's mistakes that I can talk to, or whoever can talk to. We have to reinvest. We get our money, finance, reinvest. I gotta show you how to cut grass. I gotta put that sign out there. If your dog poop in my yard, get the poop up. Because I'm gonna get the poop up out of your yard. Don't tolerate people throwing trash out their window coming down your block. Bring that respect back. And when they see us do it, they see Darrin driving a BMW, got his business right over there on Roosevelt, going into the BP, the Checkers, and getting some lunch. And then he sees some paper in front of his property or somebody else's property, he pick it up and throw it in the garbage. And then put them young men in a situation where they can learn and grow and make some money. That's how we reinvest in the community as Black men.
D, what you got for us?
Man. You know, it's a hard question for me to answer in the time that's allotted. And I'm really enjoying our conversation, and I almost want you to extend us if it's possible for some more time. Because you asked us to send in our bios, and if you ever look at my bio speaks nothing but community. And so oftentimes when you are an entrepreneur in a community, oftentimes people think you're doing it because you want to grow your business. And let me tell you, the work that I've done in the community has not helped grow my business. It has shown people the stuff that I am capable of doing, but it hasn't grown my business. So let me speak of this. In order for us to grow our communities that we're in, we have to be community minded. And most folks, and I don't want to sound like a negative, but I'm going to try to bring it home as best I can. Most people are taught to take care of themselves, and they are taught from a selfish standpoint to say, hey, it's about you and forget everybody else. Ideally, the average individual is not community minded. And at some point in time throughout history, people came into communities and they had all the money and they told people that they wanted you to volunteer. So they get all the money, you volunteer, and now your family don't have any money because you're out there volunteering, hoping that this potentially can lead to something, and it never leads to anything. Another point, we have to be community minded. Oftentimes, folks come to me under the umbrella saying, donate to my basketball program, because most people know I'm a basketball guy, or donate to this, or donate to that. But those same people, when I ask them who they have their insurance with, they tell me that they got someone else who doesn't represent their community over in Aurora that has their insurance. So let me get this straight. You're asking me to donate money because I'm here in the community and I got to deal with people vandalizing my property. I got to deal with people being disrespectful to me and my staff. I got to deal with all of those challenges because I brought a business here and I invested all my money, my energy, and my time to come here and bring a quality business, a quality product. And you don't do business with me, but you want to take money out of my family's mouth and out of my client's mouth. So I've done this community thing a long time, and I will go toe to toe with anybody that want to talk about how do we grow community. We have to teach people how to be community minded. Secondly, we have to pay people for the work that they're doing. This whole volunteer stage of having people come out and volunteer, we have had people to take advantage of our community for the last 100 years.
You're right.
Cynthia, for the work that you're doing out there, you should have 10 million. You should have a $10 million grant, and then you should be able to call me or Bowie and say, hey, I got $10,000 or $20,000 for y'all to do financial literacy. See, how we take care of one another is this. If I get $100,000 to do financial literacy, Bowie, Cynthia, everybody has to get paid, because communities are built off economics. Economics. And if people aren't getting money, then we can't grow our community. The reason why our community in North Lawndale looks like it look and it has looked, because we are not sharing the wealth. I often ask people, my one question I ask people when they say the community is bad, I say, who is your plumber? Who is your electrician? Who is your carpenter? Who is your HVAC person? Let's say we don't have those storefronts out there, but you understand what I'm saying. And
Absolutely.
When they look at us, we're recycling dollars. So 9 times out of 10, Bowie knows that I'm a resource, and I know that he's a resource. And I got a ton of resources, just like in Cynthia. And you know this to be true because I pay attention to what everybody is doing. I can't always reach out to everybody, but when I know I can utilize those individuals and try to help them, I called you about a month ago. I said, hey, you got some young man doing this. I said, doing moving. One of our dear friends, Lori Ann, was trying to move some stuff. She's a stylist from the community. I said, can your people move? She's like, nah, they can't do it because they got some other stuff. Whatever the situation was, I want them to make the money. Why go to somebody else and try to give them our money? Now, I don't know the statistics on these other communities, how money is recycled in the community, but I know that it is not recycled in ours. So everybody that wants to talk community don't understand.
It's not ready. And they're not ready.
And finally, we have adults who haven't, now I'm not here to judge anybody, but we have adults who are 50, 30, 40 years later getting their lives together, who are competing against our kids. So they are not out there trying to help develop our kids. They're actually taking food out of our kids' mouth because some of these jobs are going to them where we should be the adults and helping develop these kids and giving them that opportunity. So
I love it.
We have to become more community minded, and you can't teach a kid how to be community minded if you're a selfish individual.
Drop the mic. Wow, you guys said a lot, and man, y'all, I agree wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave that alone. Nevertheless, the next question is love languages. You guys familiar with the love language, the 5 love languages?
I'm not familiar with.
I heard of them.
I don't know.
So I went to Pastor Hannah Church probably 10, 15 years ago, and he spoke about the 5 love languages. And I went and got the book, and this probably could have been over 16 years ago. And so this is my life through love languages, because a lot of times we can be pouring into somebody and it's not their love language. It's not how they receive things, right? It's not their receptive trait or whatever. And so the first one is words of affirmations, telling people, oh, you look nice, you did da da da, speaking life into them or whatever. The second one is acts of service, just doing stuff for them. Third is receiving gifts, which is all women, we love to receive gifts. The fourth one is quality time, spending quality time. And the fifth one is physical touch. And so you can have one, you can have two, you can have all three. Because, for instance, I may think without talking to you that your love language could be quality time when it's not. Your love language is words of affirmation. So I could be pouring into something that I think good for you, but we haven't had that conversation to where I know what it is that you like. And we all know, like y'all both mentioned earlier, communication is the key to everything, any type of relationship. So Fernando.
I think when you're dating your mate or whoever you date, I think it is important to communicate what it is that you want. I think for me, it's a little bit of both. I mean, it's a little bit of all of it. It's not one or the other, but primarily it's acts of service. You could tell me I look good. You can and all the other ones I never seem to remember them. So every time somebody asks me this question, I just say, tell me again. But it's acts of service for me, because how you show me that for me is I don't really care about the gifts. You can get me gifts. I don't need gifts. I don't need a pat on the back, but I need you to show me service. Show me, hey, if I ask you to do something, can you do it? Or you need to anticipate. So I'm naturally a service person, and you show me through service.
Okay. Fernando, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
I think that your actions is all that in one. If you are physically not into a person, you're not going to touch him. That
Correct.
person is not going to feel wanted. I can say, hey, Cynthia, I love you, but I don't show you no acts of love. But verbally, I'm saying this as communication. That's not communicating that I love you. Communication is, hey, listen, we got a problem. We need to sit down and talk. I want this to work. Do you want this to work? Yes, I want this to work. Well, this is my issue with you. This is my issue with you. We got to act on it. So if you have that issue with me and I'm saying I'm going to correct it, my actions have to show it.
So
And go ahead.
So which language does that fall under? Yours?
All of it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All of it.
Got it.
Communication. You gotta, hey, if you don't physically touch me, that means to me you don't want me. I'm not attractive to you.
I agree.
If you don't show me that you love me, you can say it. I need your actions.
Other than that, you're just going through the motions, right? Just
right. And here's another thing, and this is what I talked to my son about. He's, I think, 4 or 5 years into his marriage. He's a property owner. Him and his wife are college graduates. They're doing well for each other. But one thing that I told him is that you cannot allow each other to outgrow each other. I can't stand here and my significant other, my spouse, is growing. Because as she grows, she's going to meet people that's going to pique her interest in whatever she's growing in.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when that interest get piqued, it's not always about business. And you're still here. You're still doing the same thing you did 5-10 years ago. And she's outgrowing you, son. Or vice versa. So we have to be on the same level of playing fields. And you have to support where I'm growing. I'm support where you're growing. So I think it's not just one key factor in relationships. It's all of those things. You have to put all those things in play.
Got it.
Physical, and this is where we mess up at, in my opinion. And I'm feeling, hey, put your seatbelt on.
After that, I got one more question. We're running out of time.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Put your seatbelt on. We as black men, we allow our black women to not monitor their weight. And we say it's okay. But we look at other women that doing these things. That our women, our significant other, our spouse, has to be able to say, baby, okay, how do we do this together? If you're a diabetic, we're gonna get you off that medication. I'm not a diabetic, but you are. I'm gonna stop eating 6 chicken wings, and you tell me you want 2 of them. You can't have 2, but I can't put that in front of you. We're in this together. These are the mistakes I think that we make in a relationship, and we say it's okay, and it's not okay.
Okay.
It's not okay.
The last question for you guys is tell me your favorite scripture or your favorite Bible parable. Darrin.
You know, I'm not really a Bible reader. I've read the Bible. And I'm not really a quote person where this is the quote and I live by it. Okay. But one of my fundamental principles is that despite all the challenges that you have in life, it always works out in the end. And that's something that I like to live by, because we all deal with a bunch of challenges. And sometimes you don't know what the outcome is going to be. For me, it always worked out. And so people may say, well, something negative happened. If we really look in the mirror and understand why it happened, then we understand that we may play a role in it and how we can benefit from it. So for me, it always works out in the end, good or bad.
Okay.
I think mine is, and again, I'm same way with where DT is at, but I think faith without work is useless, is nothing. You know, we could say, oh, I got faith, God gonna get me through this, but you ain't working for nothing to get past it. Oh, I got a business, he showed me I'm supposed to have this business, but you ain't out there doing nothing for the business. Faith without work is nothing. I don't know if that's a spiritual quote or not, but
It's your quote. It's whatever you live by. I just
and I'm not a guy that's every Sunday in church. I can't even tell you when the last time I went to church. But here's the thing,
Fernando, I'm not questioning that. Well,
okay, Miss Cynthia.
Spiritual belief is your spiritual belief. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for taking time out your busy schedule to come on and talk to me. I will be reaching out to you guys. I would love D to bring some young boys down to your office because I'm sure they've never been even in insurance. I mean, been in the office as such. So whenever your time permits, I got 6 good ones. That's whenever I say let's go, they with me. So I thank God for their parents trusting me to to lead them and to put people in front of them, men that I that I see walking the righteous path. So Fernando, same thing. We talk about basketball all the time. So I don't even think they even know what the components is to be a referee or just being, in that arena.
Put me in front of them because it's a need. The financial rewards are great, and we'll talk about that at another time. But we can take care of that.
Please and thank you. So with that being said, thank you guys. I'll be talking to you guys soon. I got your email, so I'll be texting y'all like, hey, I got this. That when y'all free. So thank y'all so much for the work that y'all do in the community.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right.
Thanks, Cynthia. Appreciate it. Be safe.
Thank y'all. Y'all too.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, an iNetworks communication station.